Oh, hey there. I've just been catching up on some lore myself. Been doing a lot of reading lately, particularly in fantasy. And I think that that's something that we can all relate to, whether it's a movie or a video game or a good book, maybe. We all like a good story. It could be Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit, Star Wars, or The Matrix. Either way, we all appreciate good storytelling. And that's exactly what I want to talk about with you today. If you have a few moments, let me show you. Let's take a look. This tale is about the Dünir, one half of the dwarves in Ashes of Creation. Their way of life on Verra is one of family, a proud heritage with a pride and defense of one's values. They honor their way of life by honoring those who have fallen, leaving none forgotten. And that's exactly the tale I want to share with you today. How, in even the harshest climates, the Dünir dwarves honor those who've passed on, their flame ever burning in the forges of every Dünir's heart. So today, we look at the lore of a Dünir-themed pre-order pack. Today, I'll tell you the tale of the None Forgotten. The Dünir, a race of stoic tradition. So steeped in creativity, the very beards that adorn their faces tell their way of life. But just as a Dünir dwarf is rich in living, the Dünir are richer still in death. For the mountain-dwelling dwarves, burying their dead as humans do, deep within the dirt, does not suit their way of life. Thus, when a Dünir dwarf passes on, their bodies are honored through cremation in a special funeral forge, the Forge of Remembrance, a structure that serves as both crematorium and forge, the heat of which is used to craft a tool or weapon that is associated with the very dwarf who's passed on. These creations are very sacred to the Dünir, as they believe the deceased one's spirit joins with the tool or weapon. But perhaps something even more honorable happens to a rare and honored few, who've passed beyond the realm of the living. The volcanically formed caskets of the esteemed dead are carried in the hulking hearse of the honored through the streets of Dünheim. As it slowly moves through the street, all tongues are stilled, all movement is ceased, and with helms in hand, the people of Dünheim lower their heads in solemn vigil to the now passing ancestor as they make their way to the halls of remembrance. It is here, buried deep in the Dünir catacombs, the Two Morens stand watch over those who've earned the rare right to be one with the mountain yet again. These Two Morens, guardians of the restful dead, adorn themselves in the most perfectly crafted Dünir armor, the maroon and gold tabards signifying their station. You see, typically a Two Morens watch is brief, as these positions are mostly held by aged veterans, those whose days on the shield wall have ended. They guard those whom they've had association with in life. A former officer may guard a heroic general, a royal guard of a beloved queen. In the end, the Two Morens' shifts are brief, but to any Dünir dwarf, they know and hold them in high regard, as every Two Moren position is steeped in symbolism and respect. The grand armies of the Dünir can intimidate even the grandest of foes, but there's perhaps nothing more menacing than the Anvil Hogs of northern Vandagar. These swine are very temperamental. In fact, their ferocity and size is well documented in the tales of adventurers who've witnessed their battle fame firsthand. But even that doesn't sway the Dünir, as they've found ways to train the toughest of these beasts, riding them unwaveringly into war, crushing their enemies underfoot. But not all in the Dünir homeland is that of beaming pride or stoic tradition. For just as brightly as the surrounding snow-covered mountains reflect the rising morning sun, so too Do the flaming skulls of Unrest light the dark, unruly corners of the night? These manifestations reek of necromantic forces, the very flames casting ghastly shadows from an undead heat. They wander to and fro, craving nothing more than to find and end those priests devoted to the divine. It is theorized by the clerics of Dune that these skulls will not cease in their malice toward the Verran clergy until the very remains of the skull's body is given proper rest. So you've learned about the proper honoring of the Dünir's dead, the fearsome warhogs they ride, and the undead evil that lurks at night. But nothing would be a greater way to end this tale than to highlight the Dünir's devotion to the goddess of creation herself. Crafted by the most skilled jewelers of Dunheim, the lavaliers of devotion rest gently around the necks of the devout. These pendants are fashioned from the finest gold, silver, platinum, or verite, with the symbol of the goddess of creation in its center. It's been said that each lavalier retains the warmth of its forging, and of this, I have no doubt. So overall, as you can see, I think if there's any race in Verra that I'd happily bend my knee to, it's the Dünir. The way that they honor their family heritage is by never forgetting what came before, truly leaving none forgotten. Thanks so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this. If you did, let us know in the comments below. I'm Jibbs from LoreForged. Take care, everybody. Much love.